happy Wednesday, okay? Tomorrow is the full moon, but we've made it halfway through the week, and we're doing a great job. You're doing a great job, so keep up the hard work. Let's start off with our daily pledge. Today is a new day. I am ready to be the best me I can be. I will listen so I can learn. I will try hard so my brain can grow. I will not give up. I can learn anything I put my mind to. It's a new day. I got to play that song one day. It's a new day and a new opportunity to be your best self, work on your goals, get out, go for a walk, get some exercising, drinking lots of water, making sure you're eating your meals, and so on. However, let's do our check-in. Where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10? How are you feeling? Did you wake up feeling really good? If so, that's awesome. Use your energy, apply it to the day. But if you didn't wake up feeling so good, what do you need to do to help yourself? Get out your toolbox. Remember yesterday, I showed you a picture of a toolbox and we need to fill it up. And that just because you have one tool in your toolbox does not mean it's going to help every single symptom that you're experiencing, every situation, every stressor. You have to keep filling up your toolbox with multiple different ways to help yourself. You are not going to use the same coping skill for anxiety as you maybe would depression or for stress as you would sadness. And so you see, we need multiple different tools in our box. And that's why it's a toolbox, because we got to fill it up. So where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10? Something that I just wanted to kind of go over too is just that there's lots of different ways to check in. You don't always have to do like a scale of 1 to 10 every day or at the end of the week. So maybe every day you do a scale of 1 to 10, and then either on a Monday or a Friday or a Sunday or whichever you prefer, you start asking yourself. I have different check-ins. I know you can't really see this, but anyways, there's lots of different questions you can ask yourself to give yourself a good, quick little run over of how your mental health is. Have you been taking care of yourself? Have you been doing all the things that you need to do to feel better? So here's some questions to ask yourself. Have you been getting enough sleep? More often than not, when I have consumers that have experiencing some increased depression, low mood, low motivation, the very first thing I ask them is, have you been sleeping? And then they go, I guess I haven't been sleeping that well this week. Sleep is huge. Sleep pretty much impacts your entire ability to function throughout the week. So if you haven't been getting very good sleep, the number one thing you should probably go do is go take a nap. That really does impact our mood and does everything about our day-to-day stuff, okay? The next question to ask yourself is, have you explored your creativity this week? Have you done anything being creative? Have you tapped into some sort of like different things? What have you been doing? Have you been just sitting in a puddle in a chair, not just all day long, staring at the ceiling? That's not tapping into your creativity. That's kind of like reinforcing that low mood. It's reinforcing no motivation. It's helping increase your depression. And so have you tapped into your creativity? It doesn't have to be just about crafts. Maybe you went out to nature and did something with, being creative. Maybe you cooked a new meal. What have you done to kind of spark some motivation inside of yourself? And the next one have you been making healthy choices? Have you been making healthy choices this week? Have you been eating right? Have you been drinking lots of water? Have you been exercising, going for a walk? Have you been making good choices that is going to support improving your mental health? If you haven't been, there's a good place to start. Taking better care of yourself. Remember, we have to be me-sponsible. So all these questions you're kind of going over right now is about us being me-sponsible and taking care of ourselves and checking in. And what are we doing? What are we not doing? What do we need to hurry up and get to so that we can help ourselves feel better? The next one is, have you been exercising regularly? Now, exercising regularly does not mean you ran 2 miles on the treadmill every day. Did you at least go for a 20-minute walk? A slow walk. Just go move your body, do something. Remember, we can lift weights with milk jugs, or maybe you have water jugs at home. Whatever you can do, just even sitting in your chair to get the blood flowing and move your body. And lastly, have you been spending time with your loved ones? Now, it doesn't have to just be family. Your loved ones can be your friends. I like this one. Here's another 5-minute mental health checklist, okay? At the end of the day, the end of the week, or before you start your day, again, here's some more questions to ask yourself. Because, again, this is about Wellness Wednesday, and we need to make sure that we're doing A, B, C, D, and E almost every day to make sure that we are working on our recovery. We are working on being our best self. We are taking the very best care of ourselves that we know we can, and this is part of our toolbox. So, number 1, have I ate regular meals? Most often, if you have not been eating regular meals, you've been skipping meals, you haven't ate at all, those do not help put fuel in your body that gives you energy to take care of yourself. So if you have low energy and low mood and you're anxious or you're depressed or whatever it is, ask yourself, have I ate regular meals? If the answer is no, then we need to get back on track. Again, get out your calendar or get out a notebook. Start documenting these things for yourself. Start writing them down so you can see, today I ate a sandwich. Okay, I had lunch. Tuesday I ate lunch and I ate something for supper. But you got to keep track of this stuff. Don't just rely on your brain. Trust me. I can never rely on my brain. Everybody around here knows that. I have Post-it notes, and even then I forget things. But write things down. Get out a notebook. Leave it in your kitchen. Leave it maybe close to your coffee pot or wherever. But put it somewhere so that you can document every day. What did you eat? How did you eat? Did you eat your meals? If not, then you need to get back on track with that. Because like I've said multiple times, if I don't put gas in my car, it's not going to go. So if you don't put food in your body that fuels yourself, it's going to be really hard to manage your mental health, have any sort of motivation, things like that. So, yes, making a list. Another mental health checklist is, have you showered? Have you showered and changed your clothes? Because that helps us feel better. Many of us don't like to shower. We don't like to take the time to shower, whatever it may be. Maybe you're just too depressed to get in the shower. But I can assure you that once you take a shower, you're going to feel refreshed. You're going to feel energized. Every single day, you should shower, okay? If that's too difficult, at the very least, every other day. But you should always change your clothes. Now, especially when you're depressed. If you are spending all day long in your pajamas, you know what you're doing? You are just fostering more depression because it's easy to just sit in our pajamas. It doesn't train our brain to be like, okay, I got up, I got dressed, now I need to start the day. You stayed in your pajamas, you sat in your chair, and that's where you stood. That's where you sat all day long. So every day, get up and change your clothes. Put on clothes. Don't sit in your pajamas because, again, that's just going to keep us in that unmotivated, sort of low mood. We're not going to help ourselves. That's not us being responsible. So get up and change. Put clothes on. And another one is, again, we just talked about that. Have you been getting enough sleep? I have not been getting enough sleep this week, and I know what that does to my mood. And half of us around here have been, again, talking about how our memory's been even worse this week. Have you been thinking kind thoughts of yourself, or have you been beating yourself up all week long? Have you been just throwing yourself under the bus and telling yourself negative things? Stop it. Remember those automatic negative thoughts, the ants. Think of the little ants. We need to stop those because that drags us down. It prevents us from working on our goals. We have no motivation. We don't follow through with appointments. Those are the things that are going to constantly keep us going in that downward spiral. The next one for your checklist, have I spent time outside? Have you left those walls inside of your apartment? Do you think that the walls are starting to cave in? It's a pretty good indicator you need to go outside. Even if it's not for, to go for a walk, go sit in a chair. Most often, if you live in an apartment, there's a park bench out there or there's a picnic table. Even if you take a blanket and go sit in the grass or go to the park, whatever it may be, go outside, get some fresh air, get a little bit of sunshine. If you're going to sit in the sun for a long time, obviously put your sunscreen on. But you got to go outside and you got to get fresh air and just take it all in. Use your guided imagery during that time. Use your grounding techniques, the sights, the sounds, the smells, and things like that. And you will start to notice what that does to your mood and how that helps you feel better. And lastly, have you exercised? So, all right, now, I like this. So that's a little bit more of just some more mental health check-ins. Make a list for yourself. If you want these worksheets, you got to let me know. But these are just examples of ways that you can check in with yourself either every day, night, morning, or at the end of the week. If you aren't doing well, chances are You haven't been doing something on these lists, and we need to get ourselves back on track. Don't allow it to continue on for more days. Do something about it now, aside from doing your check-in every day. So today's mantra, you are a rock star. I like that. So we're talking about personalities, and I don't have a whole lot of time, but this week we've been talking a lot about what's your recovery process, and that, we can't give up, and how to never give up on yourself, things like that. But sometimes we all learn differently, and we experience things differently, and we do things differently based off of our personalities. However, I didn't get to this worksheet yesterday, so I want to do this today. 10 toxic personalities inside yourself. 10 toxic personalities inside yourself. We've talked about toxic personalities from other people. However, there are personalities inside of ourselves that do not allow us to work on our recovery, that do not allow us to get up and do the things we need to do to help ourselves feel better, because we are our own worst enemy. And so we need to slowly but surely be able to identify those and change it so that you can be more positive and just be your best self and not beat yourself up over things. So the number one toxic personality inside yourself is the negativity committee. Who can attest to that? Raise your hand. Be positive at all times. So the negativity committee can't even talk. It's kind of crawls back into your brain. It tells you you're not worth it. You can't do it. You're never going to do it. Recovery is awful. You're never going to feel better. You're never going to be happy. On and on and on and on. So that's the negativity committee. There are these little people sitting on your shoulder going, you can't do it, and you never will. So we need to get rid of those people, and we need to focus on, again, we talked about the automatic negative thoughts. When you start to feel them creep back inside, remember the 3 C's. Catch it, check it, change it. Take them, hold on to them, check out that thought, make sure it's really what it is, and then change it. Because most often that thought that you just caught is not true. It's just you beating yourself up, and we need to change it, okay? Number 2, the hoarder of pain and loss. We need to free ourselves emotionally and move on. Are you the hoarder of pain and loss? Do you take all that pain and loss that you've experienced in your life and bottle it up and hold on to it and allow it to be, again, like I said the other day, the ball and chain on your leg? If you are a hoarder of pain and loss, we have to figure out a way to forgive. And we have to figure out a way to move on and to accept what has happened or accept what is going on and move on from that and figure out ways to reinvent yourself and change those. Change that thought, free those emotions, free that pain that you have experienced, and move on from that. Now, again, that's easier said than done. I know that. However, there's lots of resources out there that talk about ways to forgive, the power of forgiveness, not only for yourself, but for those that have inflicted pain on you. And you have to go through that process in order to move on. So that's a whole nother conversation. Next, the jealous competitor. Do you compare yourself to others every day of the week? Do you not feel good enough because you don't have certain things? And so the jealous competitor. We need to start focusing on who we are, loving ourselves, accepting ourselves for who we are, because this is who we are. It doesn't matter if people judge you your entire life. You are who you are. Might be ridiculous. You might be quiet. You might be super loud. Whatever it is, you are who you are. Nobody's going to change that. And so do not compare yourself to other people, but accept who you are. Number 4, the mask. You can't change who you are. If you're trying to be fake and cover up who you are and trying to dress different, act different, be something different, you will lose yourself, and in turn, you know what's going to happen? Your mental health will skyrocket because you're not being true to who you are. You are working very hard at being somebody that you are not. It causes depression, anxiety, and if you find yourself in a relationship where you have to be somebody else for them to love you, they need to go. Get rid of those people. They're not worth it. They are not worth your time. You are perfect just the way you are. Number 5, the superficial judge. Are you judging yourself? Okay? And are you judging other people all the time? If so, that sounds exhausting. All right? We need to focus on ourselves. Remember our self-care wheel. Remember our circle of control. If you are judging yourself and others, that takes up a lot of time and energy that you could be using to make sure that you are well. Number 6, the busybody. Are you always moving, constantly going? Do you got to be go, do? We do need to take time to take a step back and relax and unwind and slow the brain down and take a chill pill. I get that. I think for the most part we do that. Sometimes our legs start to run out of steam and eventually we crash. But the busy body can also cause some anxiety and depression. It struggles with, our sleep. It can really be a negative thing, okay? And so we need to try to create some balance. Number 7, the perfectionist. Are you a perfectionist? Ultimately, being a perfectionist causes us to judge ourselves, to be everything we just talked about, negativity. We don't feel good enough, and it causes a lot of anxiety because everything has to be perfect. We have to be perfect. It's unrealistic. Don't do that to yourself. We have to, again, learn to find some balance and a happy medium. The cheater, be honest with yourself and everyone around you. Don't lie to yourself about how you're, like if somebody says, how are you feeling? And you say, I'm doing really great. But that's not true. You're having bad thoughts. You haven't showered in a couple of days. You haven't ate. Don't lie about it. Share with others, and at least be honest with yourself so that you can help yourself get better and get back on track. Because the more we lie to ourselves, we're not really focusing on what needs to change. We're not doing anything about it. It's just growing. The victim, stand up for yourself. Take charge of your life. You have to advocate. If you are being the victim, you're not taking control. You're allowing others to control you, and that's not okay. Last but not least, the procrastinator. Do not procrastinate. I do it every day. It's a bad habit. Get things done now that you can. Again, make lists. A checklist is amazing because it makes you feel good about the things that you've gotten done, but it also helps you remember the things you have to do. But again, it just reinforces like, wow, that feels really good to mark things off on my list. All right. That's a lot of information in 20 minutes, but my hope for you today is that you can figure out some good ways to check in with yourself. Make a list, get a notebook, put it by your coffee pot, put it by your refrigerator, whatever. Check in with yourself every day or at least once a week. Are you eating? Are you sleeping? Are you showering? Did you change your clothes? Are you drinking water? Are you exercising? What are all the things that you need to do to be responsible, to take care of yourself? Remember your self-care wheel. Visually, hold up your circle and ask yourself, are you doing all the things that you need to do to help yourself feel better? If not, you better get moving. Those are going to be the ways that we are going to help ourselves. Fill up your toolbox. Don't beat yourself up. Do your check-ins. Whew! And have an amazing Wednesday. We're like almost to the 4th of July. It's really hard to believe. But again, it is going to be warm out today, but that's no reason not to go outside. Get a water bottle, go outside, go for a walk. You're going to survive, I promise. Have a great rest of your week. Do not forget about positivity, staying motivated, working on yourself, figuring out ways to check in every day, and thinking about recovery and what that means to you. We learned a lot this week, but then that leaves you with a lot of things to think about the rest of the week. Fill up your toolbox, make your toolbox. Maybe you just need to share it with other people. But either way, smile a lot. Have a great day. Reach out to a friend, and I will see you on Monday.